Have you ever thought about how expensive it is to be a woman? And I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about all of the expectations that are put onto us as to how we should be as women. Because from a very young age, we are taught that we need to look a certain way, behave a certain way, speak a certain way. And somehow all of that comes with a cost. It can be a financial cost, an emotional cost, and sometimes even the cost to our own power. And the interesting part is, no one actually talks about this openly. We just accept this as normal. So today I want to talk to you about this, the real cost of being a woman, and how we can start taking our power back. So, welcome to Money, Power, and Lipstick. Let's start with money because this is the most visible cost that we pay as women, but also the most normalized. So, putting it simple, being a woman is expensive. Think about it: hairs, nails, makeup, clothes, skincare. And this is not only just about vanity, it's also about all of the expectations that are put onto us. There is an unspoken standard that women should always look put together, even in professional environments. And the reality is, the more polished you look, the more seriously people tend to take you. But here's the part that I think is the most important. There is a difference between investing in yourself and feeling pressure to maintain a certain standard. The first one comes from a choice, the other one comes from a place of fear. And a lot of women are spending money not because they want to, but because they feel like they have to. And I'm not going to be here and tell you like to don't spend money on beauty, because that would be a complete lie on my side. I love beauty, I love makeup, I love to take care of myself, but I think that we need to start asking ourselves better questions. Like, am I doing this because it aligns with me, or because I feel like I won't be accepted if I don't? Because that is where our power starts. Now, let's talk about actual power, because here is where things get more complex. The way you look affects the way people perceive you. This is just reality. And there is also something called pretty privilege. Whether we like it or not, it is something that exists. But at the same time, we uh, being too beautiful or too put together can also work against us. So you might not be taken seriously, you might be underestimated, you might feel like you have to constantly prove that you're more than just your appearance. So we end up in this strange position as women where we are expected to look good, but not too good, where we are expected to be confident, but not too intimidating, be strong, but still soft enough to be accepted. And this is a constant balancing act. And this balancing act can be very, very exhausting. So here's how I see it: beauty is not the problem. The problem um, is when beauty becomes something that controls you instead of something that you control. Because when you start using it intentionally, when you understand how you present yourself, how you show up, that is when beauty can become a tool, not a limitation. And that is where your real power starts. And of course, when we are talking about the cost of being a woman, we cannot ignore the big elephant in the room, and that is our relationships. And this one hits very, very deep, because a lot of strong, independent, successful women still find themselves in relationships that don't align with who they are. And this is very confusing. I know it. I've seen it and felt it firsthand, because on paper, we are doing everything right. You have your career, you're financially independent, you're self aware. So, why does it feel like you're still settling? And I think part of answer to this question is because as women, we have been taught how to achieve and not necessarily how to choose. So we end up overgiving, over understanding, over explaining. We end up shrinking ourselves not because we are weak, but because we want to make relationships work. And that comes with a cost. And from all of the costs that I mentioned here, I think that when it comes to relationships, here is where we lose a lot, where our cost gets very, very expensive because the cost that we lose, that we spend in our relationship is our time, our energy, our self-worth, and sometimes even our opportunities. And at some point you have to start asking yourself, is this relationship adding to my life, or is it slowly taking away from who I am? Because being a strong woman is not just about being independent, it's about having the courage to walk away from what doesn't align with you. So, when you really think about it, the cost of being a woman is obviously not just financial. It's also about how much you compromise, how much you adjust, how much of yourself you give away without even realizing it. So, here's the shift: money gives you options, beauty can be a tool, and power is your ability to choose. So start choosing how you show up, start choosing what you invest in, start choosing who you allow into your life. And this is what this series is all about: learning how to navigate money, power, and beauty on your own terms. No pressure, no performance, just real conversations.